Day 72 of the practice of the Bhagavad Gita, shlok number 35 of the 18th adhyay, in other words, verse 35 of chapter 18. Let's chant it. Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madamevacha na vimunchati dhurmedha driti sapartha tamasi. As we have been seeing, Bhagwan is telling Arjun about how our determination, our perseverance can be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. We have already seen sattvic driti, and yesterday we saw rajasic driti. Today it is tamasic driti. Bhagwan says, the perseverance or driti by which an evil-minded person does not give up sleep, fear, anxiety, sorrow, and vanity as well, that perseverance is tamasic. 5 lakshans of tamasic driti are there in this shlok. Again, I always caution us, everyone, that when we talk about, any trait which Bhagwan describes as tamasic, it is for our own introspection to see if there's any such trait, even in the smallest drop of, present in us, and we need to work on making that better, but not for judging other people or comparing two people together. So let's go to it. It's always not very pleasant to talk about the tamasic traits, but we should talk about them because Bhagwan has talked about them, and if Bhagwan wants us to know, then we should know it. So the first tamasic trait of a tamasic driti, tamasic driti is the determination to stay attached to sleep. Swapnam is the word there. Sleep here actually means ignorance, inertia. A tamasic buddhi will not be able to understand one of the basic tenets of Vedanta, that Jagat is mithya and Brahma is satya. Because he cannot apprehend this truth, because he cannot understand or conceive or accept this truth, because the buddhi is not yet ready to accept this truth, there is a misapprehension. So when you cannot see something clearly, you mistake it for something else. You imagine something else. You dream something else. Like, for example, in a desert, when it's far away and the sun is shining in a distant part of the desert, it shines and it looks like an oasis. But when you approach there is no oasis. You were not able to see clearly, and because of that, you imagined that there was an oasis there. So that is why, because it's imagined, the word used in the shlok is swapnam, like a dream. You imagine it like a dream. So a tamasic buddhi is one which projects a dream-like view of reality, okay? And in that dream of this reality which he's seeing as a sansar jagat, he perceives false joy, just like you would feel joyful in a dream. He sees things and he sees that there is joy in the Vishais, in different aspects of Jagat, and determinedly, with perseverance, with driti, he goes on and on to try to achieve that joy from the sansar. Obviously, like the oasis, it's not there, but he will keep on and on trying to pursue that. So what would be the sadhana for such a person? What is the opposite of ignorance? It's knowledge, of course. Therefore, we need knowledge to come out of this non-apprehension, which is creating misapprehension. And how will this buddhi, which is tamasic, get this knowledge? Of course, by practicing karma yoga and bhakti yoga. This is the way to prepare the buddhi to understand these very classical Vedantic truths. So that was the first lakshan. Determined to stay in that swapna state. The second lakshan is determination to stay attached to fear. Everywhere there is a determination to stay attached. It's not that somebody has that fear or somebody has that misapprehension and is trying to understand or trying to get better. Tamasic buddhi means they want to just stay over there only. Okay. So now we have sense faculties, right, which help us to see the world. They are limited. They are limited. They can only see however much they have the capacity to perceive. And because they don't have the capacity to perceive the truth, the real truth, we falsely perceive the world to be real. We falsely perceive to see all the vishayas and take that also to be real. For example, in the darkness, there's a dark room, we see a rope, but we imagine it to be a snake. And when we imagine it to be a snake, we are afraid. So that is the fear here, which Bhagavan is describing about. Now, if you see the word fear, F-E-A-R. I have told this to you all many times. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. False evidence, the snake, it's false. You thought you saw it, but it's false. And it is appearing real. So all these fears that we have are because we do not see ourselves in our true identity as divine beings. We fear the future. We fear what will happen to us. We have anxieties. Will I die? Will I have a home? Will someone look after me? Will I have food? We lose our sense of poise. And when we lose our sense of poise, we experience fear. A tamasic vritti will just go on holding on to these false beliefs, and these false beliefs create fear within us. What would be the sadhana for such a person? It's the same sadhana, because all this is being created by ignorance, and the opposite of ignorance is knowledge. And knowledge can be acquired once you have been through the process of purification through karma yoga and bhakti yoga. Therefore, do karma yoga to purify, remove the mal, remove the avguns, and do bhakti to increase your faith, because faith overcomes fear. These are some sentences we have created here in Siva that will keep on and on appearing, because that is the way it is. That's the truth. And for all these different problems that we are facing, if we just apply these axioms, that's all we really need to do when we will be successful in our journey. Number 3, determination to stay attached to sorrow, shokam. So this is a very bad tendency people have, that they keep on holding on to the past, experiences which have been negative, which have been painful, which have been sad. We keep on holding on to them as if they were some precious assets that we have. We keep thinking of that unpleasant past, how she did, how he did, what they wore, what they said, how they sat. Like a video, we keep on playing that ridiculous story again and again in our mind. What an utter waste of energy, utter waste of time, and topping it all, it completely depletes us of our energy, of our purpose, preventing us from moving forward in our spiritual journey. Obviously, hanging on to the past cannot create space in the present. So what to do? What's the sadhana? Learn from the past. I'm not saying past is absolutely useless. Past is good to learn from. Then forgive yourself, because there's no one else to forgive anyway. And then just move on. Drop it. Let go. One more axiom. Let go, let God. You are wasting your life by determinately, with vritti, holding on to the past. And more ridiculous is that we are creating more karma for our future. Because when you keep on revisiting the past, there are emotions, there are feelings, there are things we are blaming people about. So this is all creating karma. Therefore, let go, let God handle it. Number 4, determination to stay attached to despondency, vishadam. So naturally, see how logically Bhagavan Krishna has given all the tamasics. They're all flowing one after the other very logically. So when we hold on firmly to the past sorrows, then we dwell on them, we get attached to them, then the future also looks bleak. You feel hopeless, you feel helpless, you feel sorry for yourself, you create a poor me syndrome, and the mind then starts creating more and more irrational, impossible situations that may happen in the future. And then you stay wallowed in that. You don't want to come out of that because it's kind of comfortable to stay there, however unpleasant it may be. Think of Arjun in chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. He was there. That's where he was. He was lucky, because the only sadhana that can get you out of this vishadam is satsang and sanidhya of a guru. It's the only way. There is no other way. Okay, so this is, there's nothing more I can say about it, because if you are down there in the dumps, you need the helping hand of someone to bring you out. And then the 5th one, the opposite of this, the determination to stay attached to arrogance. Despondency is one, like ekdam down, and arrogance is where you are somewhere floating in some cloud, mother. So the real truth, as you know, of our identity is that we are divine beings, right? And right now we are having a human experience. That's what we are having. We are divine beings having a human experience in this lifetime. Now, the average person who doesn't know satsang and all that stuff, they don't know that they are divine beings having a human experience. They simply think they are this body, they are this mind, they are this intellect, they have a name, they have a form, and in addition to that, they have various labels. Labels are like man, woman, Indian, professor, doctor, rich, poor. Many labels are there. We have given ourselves labels as like an ID tag. You know, we have that. But a man of wisdom, someone who has really recognized himself as spiritual being, for them, these labels are simply ridiculous, because he knows he's not the label, he's not the body, he's not the mind, he's not the intellect, he's divinity itself. Divinity itself has no labels, no name, and no form. But So you have the man of wisdom who sees himself as divine. You see the average Joe who sees himself as BMI, labels, no, name, form. And then there are others who take great pride in being the label, right? They take great pride in the labels that are attached to their BMI. The labels are of the BMI. The labels are not of I, Atma. So the BMI is rich. The BMI is got a good social status. The BMI is an expert in his field. The BMI is a great philanthropist. The BMI is a great jnani. The BMI is a big guru. All these are labels, nothing else. And these people who think themselves great labels look down on others. And that is called arrogance or mad. And this is when you hang on firmly to your labels, thinking you are God's gift on earth, then that is a tamasic vritti. And Bhagwan in this shloka calls all these 5 types of tamasic vritti, those people who have it, he calls them durmedha. You know what it means? It means they are fools. Now, what sadhana can you give such a fool? Very difficult. Very difficult to make an arrogant person see his own foolishness. Because he will think even the guru, he knows better than the guru also. But with Guru Kripa, if you get a guru who is compassionate, who is patient, who doesn't mind thinking or doesn't mind allowing that person to think he is a fool, means the guru is a fool, then that guru can pull this person out maybe after years and years of satsang. Then perhaps that person can start their spiritual journey, start. So these are the lakshans of tamasic vritti. Sorry to have to tell you all these things, but you are not like that, surely. So on that note, we will give this tamasic vritti a rest and start our chanting. More tomorrow.